What's going on, everybody? Welcome inside fitnessinformant.com, Fitness Informant's YouTube channel. I'm FI founder and CEO Ryan Buckeye. I want to thank you for stopping by and checking out 100% honest, no bullshit review of MuscleSport's Black Series Rhino pre-workout, their limited edition King's Ransom. This pre-workout, I will go on record right here at the start of the video and say, is the best formulated pre-workout in the history of MuscleSport. That's right. I was so impressed when I saw the ingredient label on this limited edition pre-workout that I needed to try it for myself. Selfishly, I wanted to try it and put it to the test and test its limits inside the gym. So today we're going to talk about this product on 5 different categories. First, we're going to talk about the ingredient profile. What's in this product? Second, we're going to talk about the effectiveness. Third, we're going to talk about the flavor. Fourth, we're going to talk about mixability. And then finally, we're going to talk about value on the product. So let's dive into the ingredient profile. Why do I think this is the best formulated pre-workout from MuscleSport? Here's why. They touch on each category of a pre-workout that I absolutely love and that we love here at Fitness Informant. They touch on focus, energy, pump, strength and power, and endurance. So the first complex on this, and then plus it's fully transparent, no proprietary blends. So awesome work by the team at MuscleSport. But nitric oxide and recycling matrix starts, and we're doing a full scoop here, so 20 servings with 6 grams of pure citrulline. Now citrulline is the precursor to arginine in the body, which then inhibits nitric oxide to be produced. So it actually increases nitric oxide by using exogenous L-citrulline. So you might be thinking, like, if arginine does that, why don't we use arginine pre-workouts? Well, arginine has really, really bad absorption, and citrulline is superior to that. So citrulline is used at the clinical doses of 3 to 5 grams typically. In this case, it's 6, so even better, to help increase nitric oxide. The second ingredient, Agmatine Sulfate at a full gram. This is the accepted dosage that we like to see of Agmatine Sulfate. It's the branded version of Agmas. Really what this does is there's a couple things. There are nootropic functionalities to Agmatine Sulfate. It can help with cognitive enhancement, but in this case it's going to help with the pump as it helps regulate nitric oxide, allowing your body to produce nitric oxide. The next ingredient is Norvaline at 250 milligrams. We typically see this dose between 100 and 300 milligrams. I will say there is one study out there saying Norvaline is bad for brain cells. That is one single study. It was done via in vitro, not orally like we have in pre-workouts. So I wouldn't lose my mind over Norvaline at this point unless more studies come out saying it's actually bad and it's confirming the initial study. So Norvaline, 100 milligrams to 300 milligrams. This one's dosed at 250 milligrams. What this does, it actually will help with nitric oxide production as well because it's an arginine inhibitor. So it inhibits the enzyme in the body that says nitric oxide stop being produced. So it inhibits that, so it allows more nitric oxide to be produced in the body, giving you more of a pump. The next ingredient here is epimedium extract, standardized to 30% icarin at 100 milligrams. Now this is a unique ingredient studied for erectile dysfunction. It actually helps increase blood flow. You don't find it a lot in pre-workouts, but you find it here in MuscleSport's King's Ransom. So it is a proven ingredient with clinical studies behind it that look at actually erectile dysfunction. If you think about what erectile dysfunction is, it's lack of blood flow to the male reproductive area, right? So if you can increase blood flow, you're not going to walk around the gym with a boner if you're a dude, but it's just going to help increase blood flow over on. And the last ingredient here in this nitric oxide recycling matrix is Vanadyl Sulfate at 10 milligrams. This helps regulate blood glucose levels. So you've heard of people taking carbohydrates pre-workout to help with the pump. This is helping you metabolize and use the glucose in your system, which is going to help aid in the pump and energy output in the gym. Then we hop into the next. It's called the Cellular Energy Complex. The first ingredient is beta-alanine at 3.2 grams. This is the standard dosage of beta-alanine. Beta-alanine helps with muscular fatigue, combats it, so you have more increased muscular endurance. Plenty of studies that prove beta-alanine is an acceptable ingredient. 3.2 seems to be the standard dosage, so we are good with that. Beta Power natural betaine is used next at 2,500 milligrams. This is a good ingredient for strength and power output. Typically, we see this dose anywhere between 1.5 grams and 2.5 grams. We're getting the higher end of the dosage here. So strength and power gets a nice ingredient with betaine. The next ingredient here is Glycer-Size. It's called now. It's a glycerol powder at 2,500 milligrams. What Glycer-Size is, it's formerly known as Glycer Pump. It actually basically turns your muscles into a sponge, allowing you to soak up the water and the nutrients in the system to be used then to help with endurance, to help with strength output and power output, but it also aids in the pump. So this could actually be in the pump complex as well because this will allow your muscles to obtain more water and become larger like a balloon, giving you that swell you look for in the gym. And then the last ingredient in this section is going to be Creatine Magna Power, which is the creatine magnesium chelate blend at 2 grams. Now, this is used more for that strength and power output. This is not a clinical dosage of creatine. I don't typically see clinical doses of creatine in the pre-workout anyway. You typically want to dose creatine on itself because creatine is something you want to take daily. So the 2 grams that MuscleSport's throwing in here of Creatine Magna Power is going to help with strength and power output. The next section here is the mind-muscle connection and focus matrix, and this is really what separates this from a lot of pre-workouts. We start with 75 750 milligrams of L-tyrosine. On the surface, you might think, well, that's not a gram. You know, FI likes 1 gram of tyrosine, but you'll see as we talk about more of these cognitive enhancing ingredients in this formula that 750 milligrams is fine. So L-tyrosine is a cognitive enhancing ingredient used in many pre-workouts, typically used at a gram. 750 milligrams is fine, and I'll tell you why here in a second. The next ingredient is alpha GPC at 600 milligrams, standardized to 50% actual yield of alpha GPC. So this is what the optimal dosage of alpha GPC. You're getting 600 milligrams of alpha GPC, which derives 50% of that, which is going to be actual alpha GPC. So in the scheme of things, you're getting 300 milligrams of actual pure alpha GPC, which is exactly what you want. This is going to be one of the most beneficial, most effective nootropics on the market. That's why you don't need a full gram of L-tyrosine. You have 750 milligrams of tyrosine to go with a 600 milligrams dosage of alpha GPC. On top of that, you're going to get 300 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous. This is pure caffeine. This is the fast-hitting caffeine that's going to hit you right away. This is going to work very well in correlation with things like alpha GPC and other nootropics, as stimulants and nootropics work really well together. Next ingredient is Urea gerensis at 125 milligrams. We typically see this dose between 100 and 250 milligrams. This aids in energy production, but also aids in cognitive enhancement. And I love this ingredient. So we have a full rep on this ingredient over at FI. Urea gerensis is used a lot by MuscleSport. It's a great ingredient. It helps with cognitive. It's one of the other better cognitive enhancing ingredients on the market. So that with alpha GPC, you should have phenomenal focus. Then you have L-theanine at 100 milligrams. Theanine is known as like the relaxation ingredient. It relaxes you, relieves stress and anxiety. 100 milligrams is a solid dosage of that. Hordenine hydrochloride at 100 milligrams. This is the biggest dosage of hordenine I've ever seen. Typically, it's dosed at 50 milligrams, but that's typically then coupled with hegemonine or synephrine. So 100 milligrams of hordenine in this case is not a bad dosage. It aids in energy production and can help with fat loss. There's another variation of caffeine called dicaffeine malate at 50 milligrams. Dicaffeine malate yields about 75% caffeine, so you're actually getting about 38 grams of caffeine from this. Coupled with the 300 milligrams of caffeine of anhydrous, you have about 338 to 340 milligrams of total caffeine in this product. And then you actually have another ingredient called octopamine HCl at 50 milligrams. This is actually a non-stimulant, but it can aid in fat loss and energy production. And the final ingredient is huperzine A at 200 micrograms. Another really strong cognitive enhancing ingredient, a double dosage basically. Most companies give you about 100 micrograms. You're getting 200 micrograms here. So it's a long ingredient section on this. There's 25 or 23 grams of active ingredients in this product that is just, it's 23 grams serving. It's a great product. It's in terms of on the formula. It touches on every basis I talked about in terms of focus, energy, pump, strength and power, and endurance. So great profile. And this is the effectiveness is a direct extension of this. You have great focus, phenomenal focus, great energy. The only negative on the energy side is you have a slight crash post-use because there's not a whole lot of anti-crash agents used in this. They actually put more of it into the workout period versus the post-workout period on this product, which is not a bad thing. And the crash is not nearly as bad as some of the DMAA. Some people actually suffer crash from DMHA. So the crash is not anything like that. There's just a slight letdown from it, but it's not that crazy. Focus, great. Energy, great. Strength and power is fine, and endurance is fine. Really, the two areas to highlight in this is, I think, focus and endurance, and pump is actually really good too for pre-workout because it's not overly stimulated, meaning that the pump agents are working hard for you, not against you in terms of the vasoconstriction aspects of stimulants. So some of the pre-workouts out there have a lot of stimulants that are vasoconstrictive, which then allows, then pretty much takes away the pump because the pump can't get the blood into the muscles like it wants to. Not necessarily the case here with King's Ransom. You get a good pump, great energy, great focus, strength and endurance is right there top notch too. In terms of taste on this one, it's called King's Ransom, but to describe to you what this tastes like, the company says it's basically like a handful of Skittles with a little bit more citrus added to it. And they're exactly right. When I wrote this up, before I even knew what the company said, I said it's really fruity, fruit forward, very fruity, different fruit flavors to it. And the citrus is a nice little touch at the end when you're drinking it down. It does taste really good. It's refreshing. MuscleSport does flavors well. They do flavors right, and having a great formula to go with a great flavor works extremely well in your favor. You're going to like this. If you like Skittles, you're going to like King's Ransom. In terms of mixability, what's interesting about King's Ransom is there's actual gold flakes in this unit, and you probably can't see it here on camera, but they're actual gold pellets. And if you go to our Facebook page, you can see it because we posted it. But they actually dissolve. They dissolve. We followed the instructions here: 1 scoop in 12 to 16 ounces of water, and we were very impressed with the mixability. As you can see here on camera, you have a coloration of what you expect, like a gold color to it, but there's not a lot of residue and not a lot of particles in it. It's shocking. You thought maybe the gold flakes wouldn't dissolve. They did. They fully dissolved. Mixability on this was a 2 thumbs up along with taste, effectiveness, and profile. So that brings us to the value. If you go to MuscleSport's website, the MSRP or the listed product price on this is $69.99, 70 bucks. So most people are gonna be like, whoa, I will never pay $70 for that pre-workout. I won't pay $70 for anything. And they're probably right, but here's what MuscleSport does. There's a lot of coupon codes out there. We have one included. It's coupon code Informant that's gonna knock off 20% on King's Ransom, but they actually try to entice you to walk into the brick and mortar store, the vitamin shops, the GNCs of the world. The everyday price at shops like GNC and Vitamin Shop is $41.99. So 20 servings for $41.99, just over $2 a serving for what we think is the best formulated pre-workout in MuscleSport's history is completely worth it. It's effective, it's a clean profile, it's a great product. At $2 a serving, just a little bit over, it's a steal in our opinion, and we really think this is definitely worth $42. Anybody that complains about that obviously does not like good pre-workouts like MuscleSport's Rhino Black King's Ransom. So if you want to purchase this product, look below for a purchase link and a coupon code to save you a few dollars on the product. Great product to test out. We recommend it to anybody. Follow us on our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the red subscribe now button here below to stay up to date with all new reviews here on our FI YouTube channel. Check out our podcast. It's Be Informed, Live Fit. It's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and fitnessinformant.com. Having great guests like 8-time Mr. Olympia champion Ronnie Coleman, 4-time Olympia champion Jay Cutler, 2-time Arnold Classic champion Branch Warren, and so many more. And for this full in-depth review, more reviews, rankings, news, deals, workout routines, and nutrition plans, visit us on our official website. We're at fitnessinformant.com.